In this video, I'm going to show you how to get your Xbox registered for Dev Mode and how to set up Retroarch for use in emulation. Welcome to our latest and greatest RetroArch setup guide for the Xbox Series X and S. There have been some awesome updates to RetroArch over the last couple of months, making the experience even better for Xbox Series X and S users. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the steps of getting set up for Dev Mode, and then how to install the latest and greatest version of RetroArch. So whether you're new to the Xbox emulation scene or been here a while, I'm hoping this new video helps you out. So let's go ahead and dive in. So to get started with Dev Mode and Xbox emulation, you're going to need a couple of things. The first of which being an Xbox Series X or S for the best possible experience. Yes, you can install Dev Mode on an Xbox One, but don't expect to be running anything past the PS1 without some performance issues. There are some things that'll work, yes, but overall, it's not great. So a Series S or X is definitely the best way to go about it. But if you are using an Xbox One, I will mention some relevant information regarding that as we progress. The next thing you're going to need is a USB drive of some variety. And when I say USB drive, I can mean an SSD, a hard drive, or a thumb drive. They all connect via USB, so they are all classified as USB drives in my mind. So there we go. So I'll have some links to some relevant products in the description below, but I am still rocking this Crucial X6 that has been my go-to since 2021. And you will need to have a Windows PC of some variety to format this USB drive because it needs to be an NTFS format with specific security permissions to work properly on the Xbox. So if you are running Linux or Mac, you will need to use a Windows VM to accomplish this. And finally, you will need to have $20 to sign up for Dev Mode via a credit card or debit card. So to get started with the process of activating Dev Mode, go ahead and get your Xbox booted up to your dashboard, and then press the Y button on your controller to bring up the search bar, and simply type in Dev space Mode. And under the results, you will see DevKit activation, Xbox Dev Mode right here with a nice little Series S and X on it. Just go ahead and press A to download this and get it installed. And once installed, go ahead and press A to launch it. And you can read through the welcome message. Once finished, click on Next. Now read through the before you begin steps, and once finished, click on Next. And you'll finally be brought to the Activate Console screen where you'll be given a website and code to activate your Xbox for Dev Mode usage. So from here, we're going to move over to a PC, Mac, Linux, phone, tablet, internet browser. We're not going to use the Xbox's built-in Edge browser for this part. But we're going to go ahead and type in that web address that the Dev Mode activator has given us here. So just go ahead and go to this website. And now get signed in with the Microsoft account that you wish to get signed up for Dev Mode with. And once you've successfully logged in, you'll be brought to the Microsoft Partner Center home screen, and this is great. We'll just leave it here for now while we go ahead and get set up for a developer account. So we're going to open up a new tab. And we're going to head to developer.microsoft.com, Microsoft Store Register. So link to this will be in the description below. But essentially, we're going to go ahead and get signed up for a developer account so we can turn our Xboxes into development systems to load our apps into. So developer accounts do cost $19, and it is a one-time registration fee. No renewal is required. But go ahead and click on Sign Up. And now go ahead and select your region. So I am in the US. I am an individual. Now enter in any company name. And then enter in your contact info. And once finished, click Next. Now on the next screen, we're going to add in payment info. And this is going to require a credit or debit card. If you don't have access to one of those, you might be able to email Microsoft for them to send you out a promo code to use. But otherwise, just click on Add New Payment Method, credit or debit card, click on Select, and then enter in your payment info. And once finished, click Next. Now on the registration review page, just check mark the I accept terms and conditions agreement and click on Finish. And now click on Go to Dashboard. But after you're done registering your account, you can head back into your Partner Center page, click on Refresh, and you'll see that it has a lot more options in it than before. But as cool as that is, we want to get our device registered to use Dev Mode. So what we're going to do is type in that web address that our console gave us in the Dev Mode activator once again, so that way we can get our console activated. So go ahead and get that address typed back in again, and then just press enter. And it should bring you to your Manage Xbox Devices screen right here. So to add your Xbox to your Dev Mode account, just go ahead and navigate over to the right side of the screen onto this little plus button, and then enter activation code. Now go ahead and flip back over to your console real quick, and chances are it has already timed out on that first code it gave you, so go ahead and click A on Get a New Code. So there we go. Now enter that code into the activation code screen here and click Submit. And now your Xbox is registered to your development account. So from here, you could go ahead and rename it if you want. You don't have to do this, but it helps you know which Xbox, if you have multiple, each one is. So for example, we could type in a Series S. There we go. Perfect. But now that we have the Xbox registered, we can go ahead and close out of our Partner Center here. But now switching back over to our Xbox, your development mode activation app should have changed to show you that you can now switch into development mode. So go ahead and press A on switch and restart. The console will reboot and you'll be brought into the Dev Mode home screen. And once the console is finished rebooting, you should be brought to a screen that looks something like this. And this is your wonderful Xbox Dev Mode home screen. So the first order of business that we're going to take care of is to make sure that we are connected to the internet. So if your console is connected through Ethernet, you should be fine. You'll see that you have an IP address in the top left or bottom right of the screen. But if you are using a wireless network, you will need to head into your settings. Head into your network settings and set up your wireless network. You could also set up your display options if needed. But once finished, go back to your Dev Mode home screen, and we're going to add in our test account. So this is the account that you signed up for Dev Mode with. So just go ahead and press A on Add Existing, and get logged into your Xbox Live account that you signed up for Dev Mode with. And once that's done, you'll see that your test account has been added into the box here. And I don't like having this test accounts page showing up all the time, so you can press the back button on your controller, and you can easily remove the tool so that way it's not cluttering up your Dev Mode home screen. Next, we're going to set up our remote access settings so that way we can install programs to our Xbox while it's in Dev Mode. So go ahead and press A on remote access settings. Make sure the checkmark for Enable Xbox Device Portal is checked, and then make sure the checkbox for authentication is set. Now press A on Set Username and Password, and type in any username and password you want it to have. So something as simple as Xbox is A-OK for anyone that is familiar with the OG Xbox. This was a standard thing. So there we go. But once set, just go ahead and close out of that. And we are now ready to begin installing apps within Dev Mode. Now before we begin installing UWP apps onto our Xboxes, we are going to properly format our USB drives to work with RetroArch and other emulators on the console. So there's two methods of doing this. You can use the Xbox Media tool, or do it manually through Windows. We're going to be covering both, so we're going to start with the Xbox Media tool. So we're going to go ahead and download this tool from the Xbox Dev Store, so link to this will be in the description below. But just go to Xbox Media Tool, click on Download. And again, this is Windows only. Once you have the tool downloaded, go ahead and get it extracted using whatever zip program you like to use. And now connect your USB drive to your PC. So here you can see my Xbox Media USB drive. This is the one I've been using for my tutorials for a very long time. We're going to format all of this and start from scratch to give you all a proper demo. So what I like to do first is format this drive into NTFS to begin with, just using Windows built-in formatter, so just NTFS, everything default. Tends to give the best results with the Xbox Media tool. But once that formatting is complete, just open up the Xbox Media USB tool. And once the tool has loaded up, you can go into Settings, choose your language if you need something besides English. But regardless, we are now going to select our USB drive from the drop-down menu here. So make sure you select your proper USB drive, because if you don't, you will format your stuff on your computer. And if you do that, that's on you for not paying attention. So mine is drive F. And I'm going to tell it to format. And it's going to tell you that you're going to lose everything on that drive. Click on yes. And you'll get a pop-up saying that it is now prepared. So you can confirm this by opening up the drive, right-click, Properties, Security tab, and if you see the All Application Packages user here, that means everything is good. So this tool also gives you a number of predetermined folders for BIOS files, games, and then a RetroArch subfolder here that'll have your system folder, saves folder, everything you need. Now, if for whatever reason the tool just refuses to work for you, you can do this manually. So once again, just go ahead and format your drive, NTFS, default allocation size, quick format. You can name it whatever the heck you want, doesn't matter. Click on start, format. Perfect. Once that's done, right click on the drive, properties, go to the security tab. From here, go down to advanced, click on add, select a principal, type in all application packages. And this is language specific, so you're going to need to look up what this is in your own native language. This is just what it is for English. And once set, click on check name, and it will fix it for you. And now press OK. And under all application packages, make sure it's allowed, this folder, subfolder, and files, and then just click on full control. Now press OK. Now checkmark replace all child object permission entries with inheritable permissions entries from this object, and press OK. And then you'll get a pop-up saying this will replace explicitly defined permissions. Click on yes. And you'll probably get an error for the system volume information. That's cool. Just press continue. And you'll see all application packages is now up here with full control. That means you are now done. Press OK. Now, the only downside to this method is it doesn't give you a nice predefined folder structure, so you will just have to add those in manually. So I would recommend making a standalone BIOS folder for your standalone emulators, your games folder, and then a RetroArch subfolder that has assets, cheats, config, info, logs, overlays, playlists, saves, shaders, states, system, and thumbnails. But with the drive properly formatted, go ahead and eject it from your PC and get it moved over to your Xbox. With the drive plugged into your Xbox, you should receive a notification telling you that media storage is now ready if you've used that drive on the console before. If you get a pop-up asking you if you want to choose between games or media storage, choose media. Otherwise, it will reformat the drive into Xbox storage and not be usable for our standalone emulators. But now let's go ahead and get RetroArch installed. So to begin, we are going to take note of our remote access IP address listed in the box on the right-hand side of the screen. This is the IP address you're going to type into a web browser on a separate computing device, so PC, Linux PC, Mac, phone, to access your Xbox. Your computer and Xbox need to be hooked up to the same network for this to work. After you type in that address and press enter, you'll likely get a "your connection isn't private" error, so just click on advanced and tell it to continue anyway. Now you'll be asked to enter in the username and password you set up on your remote access panel earlier, so type that in now and press enter. And once set, that will bring you to your Xbox device portal where you can now add games and apps. So going back to the Xbox Dev Store, we are going to get the latest version of RetroArch for Xbox Series X and S. These are specific builds for Xbox Series X and S to help with performance with OpenGL cores. So just scroll down until you find RetroArch Xbox S and X. If you are on an Xbox One, you can go to the RetroArch website, download that version of RetroArch, or if you want to still use the Xbox Dev Store, you could download the Xbox One version here. The Xbox One version of RetroArch still uses Angle versions of certain cores, which no longer work on Xbox Series X and S. So if you download this version of RetroArch, things like DS and Nintendo 64 are not going to work on an Xbox Series X or S. So make sure you download the appropriate version for your console. As you're scrolling through this page, also make note of any labels that are on your downloads to see if there's any known errors happening at the time of download. But anyway, you can just click on the download button to download RetroArch. With that file downloaded, just get it extracted once again using your favorite zip method. And inside that folder, you will have a number of different things going on here. So the ones we're interested in are retroarch.appx, and then the dependencies folder here for x64. So going back into our Xbox device portal, under My Games and Apps, you'll see this Add button here. Click on that. And now you can drag in the RetroArch app into this little box, or click on Choose File, navigate to the directory where you have RetroArch stored, select the RetroArch app, click on Next. Now under Dependencies, again, you can drag the dependency files into this box, or click on Choose File, x64, grab the dependencies, and click Start to begin installing. If the dependencies don't show up, just refresh your browser. That usually fixes it. And once RetroArch has finished installing, it'll say package successfully registered, so just click on Done. And we are now finished with the Xbox device portal for this video. Now back over on your Xbox, you'll see you now have a new RetroArch app installed. So if you scroll down to this, we're going to change this from an app to a game to get the best performance. So pressing the back button, view button, whatever it's called on the controller, this will bring up a menu, and in here you can click on View Details. And under UWP type, we're going to change it from app to game. And I always have a habit of restarting the console after doing this change. It doesn't matter, you don't have to, it's just a personal thing for me. But upon rebooting, if you chose to do so, you can confirm that the UWP app type is still set to game. And now we are ready to launch into RetroArch and configure our folder settings. So once RetroArch has booted up, just press left on your D-pad, go down to Settings. Now press up on your D-pad and go to Directory and press A. And we're going to change our directory settings over to USB. That way we can easily access them. And if Dev Mode ever decides to delete all your crap, you won't lose saves, your games, or anything valuable. So we're going to start with the System BIOS folder. And we're going to need to click Parent Directory a bunch of times until we get to the root directory here. Navigate down to E. This is going to be your USB drive. Find your RetroArch folder. And we're choosing the system folder, so we're going to select that and then tell it to use this directory. So same thing again for assets. Parent directory a bunch of times to get to the root folder. Choose our USB drive under E, RetroArch folder, and we're going to select assets. Ooh, look at that. I just made my controller glitch out. That was awesome. Use this directory. Thumbnails. So again, parent directory a ton of times to get back to the root directory. RetroArch. Thumbnails. Use this directory. So just go through and do this for all of the folders that you have on USB. Never touch the cores folder. Leave that alone. Never touch it. You touch this, you're screwing everything up. Don't touch it. And once you have navigated everything over to your USB drive, go ahead and just press B, go back up to the main menu, configuration file, and tell it to save the current configuration. This also happens if you just click on quit, but I like to make sure it saves before hitting quit just in case something goes wrong. But anyway, once saved, click on quit, and now relaunch into RetroArch. And this time we're going to go into Online Updater, and we're going to update our assets. Once those finish, you can see it looks a lot nicer in here. Next, we're going to tell it to update the core info files, so that way our cores will actually work and detect games. And we can also update controller profiles, cheats, databases, overlays, and shaders. Now, unfortunately, as of me making this video, Slang shaders are actually broken. So we will have a dedicated shader video at a different point in the future. And once you have all those downloaded again, go ahead and quit out of RetroArch, and then launch back in. It doesn't always register the core info files when you first download them, so sometimes a restart is required. But you can head into load core, and if RetroArch comes with pre-installed cores, I don't know which versions will and which won't in the future, but this current one, as of this video, did come with all the cores. You can see that they're nicely listed under their specific either brand or system. and are ready to go. Now, if for whatever reason you need to download cores, you head into the online updater, core downloader, and it will have all of the available cores that you can download listed here. And this is specifically for Xbox Series X and S users on Mesa builds. You can now use the Update Installed Cores button to update all cores. You don't have to worry about any of them breaking anymore, so you can actually update your N64 core and not worry about it. So you don't have to worry about this anymore. For Xbox One users using Angle versions of these cores, do not use the Update Installed Cores button. But moving on, let's go ahead and set up some other things for RetroArch that you might be interested in doing. So heading over to the Settings tab, User Interface. We can change the way that RetroArch looks by default. So the first thing I like to do is get rid of that Explore tab. It just causes unnecessary slowdowns. So heading into User Interface, Menu Item Visibility. I like to get rid of Help, Favorites, Images, and Explore. These are just not options that I personally use, and it's just a lot cleaner to get rid of them. So you can change whatever you'd like in here. Those are just ones that I like to get rid of. For on-screen notifications, you can turn those off or on here as well. But anyway, next up, video. So under the scaling option here, I like to enable integer scales just to get the sharpest possible output from all of my emulated games. This does result in black borders around the screen depending on your resolution, so this isn't going to be an option everyone likes. You can decide for yourself. Now under synchronization, I like to turn automatic frame delay on. This helps with input lag, and it's a nice and easy option if you don't want to dive into more advanced settings. But with those set, you're going to back out, head down to input. Now under hotkeys, you are able to set a menu toggle controller combo. So this is set to start and select by default, but that gets used in quite a few games that I like to play. So I always like using the thumbstick clicks, but even those can be used a lot of times in games at times. So you can just choose whichever hotkey that you prefer. But I'm just going to go with L3, R3. Now if you'd like to enable other hotkeys, it's best to set a hotkey enable button. So something like the left trigger. You hold that trigger down and then you can press any number of hotkeys to easily manage different things. So for example, closing out of content, we could change this over to our start button. Reset content, turn this to the back button. Fast forward, I put this on the right trigger. Rewind, put this on my left bumper. And then save states, load states, any other hotkeys you might want to set. Those are really the ones that I use the most, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with those for now. Actually, let's do a show FPS one, because why not? Right bumper. There we go. Anyway, under latency, you'll once again see that automatic frame delay option is already turned on from the video tab. But you could also turn on one of RetroArch's built-in run-ahead modes to help further reduce input latency, either with run-ahead or run preemptive frames. Not every core supports these. Try each out and see which one works for you and if you don't take too much of a performance hit. But if you like doing retro achievements, you can head down to the Achievements tab here. Enable achievements, sign in with your username and password, enable disable hardcore mode, have unlock sounds, automatic screenshots, and change the visibility of where different pop-ups show up. Next in the user tab, if you're doing Netplay a lot, you can set a Netplay username. And you can link different accounts like, once again, Retro Achievements, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. And once you have everything set, you can once again just quit out of RetroArch or go into the configuration file and save the current config. But then just quit out of RetroArch, load back in, and you will see that everything has now taken effect and is just a lot cleaner to look at. But with basic setup out of the way, you are now free to begin loading up your games, BIOS files, creating playlists, and just enjoying everything that emulation has to offer on the Xbox Series X and S through RetroArch. If you need help installing any of the cores or getting any of your games up and running, be sure to check out my Xbox emulation playlist, as this video is again specifically for installing RetroArch and doing some basic setup on this end before diving into the games. Playlist is linked in the description below for you to easily find. But once you're done enjoying emulation for the day and you want to go back to your Xbox Series X and S games, the process is really simple to do this. You just leave RetroArch, and on your Xbox Dev Mode home screen, there is a nice Leave Dev Mode button here that you can press. And it no longer defaults to where it will delete all of your stuff, which is awesome. So you can just press OK to return to retail mode at any time to enjoy your Xbox Series S and X games. And at any point, if you want to return to Dev Mode, you just click on the Xbox Dev Mode Activation app. And you'll see that your console is activated, and you just need to press A on Switch and restart to jump back in to being able to enjoy emulation. And there we go, emulation ready to be enjoyed once again. So there you have it, Xbox Dev Mode activation, setup, and RetroArch install now complete, and you are ready to move on to my core videos if you don't already know how to get them set up. Again, playlist for that is in the description below, so be sure to check it out for all your core needs. But thank you again for watching this tutorial. I hope it helps you get your Xbox set up for dev mode and running emulation to your heart's desire. Here at the end though, just the usual favors to ask. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that thumbs up, thumbs down button depending on how much you like this video, as well as that sub button and notification bell so you can see when new videos go live on the channel, as there is always loads coming your way, and that extends beyond emulation. For anyone interested in helping support the channel to keep it going well into the future, also be sure to check out that join button here on YouTube or the Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Every little bit helps keeps this place going and bringing this content directly to you. Big shout out to all of our current champions. Thank you so much for believing in what we do here and helping us keep it going. You are just amazing. Couldn't do it without you. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome, keep on gaming, and we'll see you back next video.